Good Omens recently returned with a gripping, exciting, and heartbreaking story to make up Season 2. With the show finishing and the way that made it seem as though a Season 3 had a story that was most definitely going to be on the cards, it's got lots of questions going around. Is Metatron playing a game? Is there more to Muriel? What's going to happen to Crowley? And will Aziraphale and Crowley eventually be together again? Well, I thought I'd take a look at all that's out there and give my theories and predictions on what I think could happen next. So let's get into it. Here is Good Omens Season 3, Everything We Know. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. If you enjoy the video, then feel free to hit subscribe. Thanks. The release date. The question that's on everybody's mind right now is, when will Season 3 be released? And the sad reality of that is we just don't know yet. The show hasn't even been commissioned for a third season yet, and it hasn't been given the green light for a go-ahead. Amazon Prime is most likely waiting to see how successful the second season is before making any committed decisions. They'll most likely be looking at how many users watched the show, along with the completion rate and how many people who actually started it went on to finish it. I also feel as though these days the platforms like to look at the impact that the show has made off of the platform, and if it's been able to tap into some kind of societal culture on social media. For example, with shows like Wednesday and Stranger Things, they transcended television and almost had a trend that was based around them. And if shows do that, then they're onto a winner. So I feel that's something that Amazon Prime will most likely be looking at as well. Between the first and second season of the show, there were 4 years in between them. That is an extremely long time period between seasons for a TV show. It's almost unheard of, but I suppose the COVID pandemic was something that probably contributed towards that delay, along with Neil Gaiman working on Netflix's The Sandman. So if we're going to make a prediction based on what we're working with the strikes that are currently in place, Neil couldn't work on writing the show even if he wanted to. Plus, with Sandman getting a second season on Netflix and him being heavily involved in that, I think it will most probably be another couple of years before the third season of the show arrives on our screens. And that's just presuming that the disagreements between the unions and the studios get sorted in a timely manner. If it goes on for a long while, then it will be delayed until they find some kind of resolution. I'm going to predict we'll get a new season in at least 2025, so we've got a little while to wait. The story. The story for Season 2 finished up in a way that saw Aziraphale and Crowley go in opposite directions, as after Crowley admitted that he cared deeply for Aziraphale and that he wanted to be with him for eternity, Aziraphale denied the offer, and instead chose to go up to heaven with Metatron so he could become the new Supreme Archangel following Gabriel going on the run with Beelzebub and the vacancy becoming open. This obviously broke many viewers' hearts and threw the entire relationship into question. However, I think it's something that's going to be picked up in the next season, and we'll most likely see Aziraphale come to his senses and end up alongside Crowley. Why? Well, one main thing in this season of the show was that Gabriel and Beelzebub wanted to stop a second Armageddon from taking place. Despite the fact that there was an Armageddon before, Gabriel was good, and he disagreed with inflicting that amount of damage, destruction, and death upon everybody. This also tied back to the very first episode of Season 2, where we saw that Crowley didn't like the idea of an Armageddon taking place. This is something that I think will continue into Season 3, but not in the form of an Armageddon, but with the Second Coming, which was mentioned by Metatron. Metatron came across as an individual that was a little bit of a schemer in the final episode, and it seemed like he had alternative motives with recruiting Aziraphale onto his side and offering him the position. So I think that will be something that will definitely be explored more. The Second Coming is often confirmed as being a moment that is a disaster for the people on Earth. It's said that 3 events will happen in an instance. The living will die, the universe will be transfigured, and the dead will be resurrected, judged, and recompensed. So it's an environment for evil to thrive and for life on Earth to be destroyed, hence why Metatron may be corrupted, especially if he's going to be allowing this to happen, as it will only allow evil to thrive within the universe. With Metatron saying in the final episode, "Coffee or death, does anybody ever choose death?" It's definitely alluding to the fact that death, devastation, and destruction is heading for the universe, Earth, and more specifically, the area in which we spend most of the time in the show. So it's going to be a season where there's probably so much at stake. With Aziraphale as the Supreme Archangel, a lot of it will fall onto his shoulders, and I don't think he'll be able to handle the pressure and weight of the role, and he'll most likely disagree with what's going to happen. Hence why I feel we'll see him find his way back to Crowley, and they'll ultimately end up working together in order to prevent the Second Coming and the devastation that comes along with it, which in turn will bring the pair closer again and show them their true feelings. I think we'll also see Muriel get a large focus in the next season. Their enthusiasm and positivity was something that was extremely infectious as a viewer when watching, and with them getting the bookshop and spending more time on Earth, I believe we'll see them growing and developing as an individual in the next season, maybe even forming some kind of friendship bond with Crowley. With regards to Nina and Maggie, I think we'll see them be together in the next season. They cared a lot about one another, but they just weren't ready at that point. But I think by the time that the next season comes around, they will be together. As you can see, there are so many different directions that the story could go for in Season 3. Either way, I think that the plots that we're going to get will be exciting, adventurous, and most likely pull on our heartstrings even more. The cast. The cast are what truly makes this show so great. Each of the characters, whether they're angel, demon, or human, they each bring something unique to the show, and their characters do a great job at providing animation to a world that's not animated. With there being no major character deaths in this season of the show, I think it's safe to assume that most of the characters that we've come to know, enjoy, and make up the identity of the show will return. So that would mean that we'll most probably see Aziraphale, Crowley, Michael, Uriel, Muriel, Metatron, Shax, Furfa, and Sarakel. With regards to Gabriel and Beelzebub, personally, I don't think that they'll be returning to the show. The whole thing in this season was about them being together and essentially going on the run for forming a relationship with one another and going against protocol. So if they do come back, I imagine it will be because they broke up and will be wanting their previous jobs back. With regards to Nina and Maggie, I think we will also see them back on our screens in Season 3 too. Muriel was given the job of looking after the bookshop whilst Aziraphale went up to heaven to work alongside Metatron, so we know that the setting on Earth is still at the same place, which means that it will be easy for them to make appearances again. So it's good to see that most of the main cast will most probably be returning again. I suppose the only thing that would mean that a different actor would play the character would be if there was a scheduling conflict, like what happened with the original actor of Beelzebub. Hence why Anna Maxwell Martin was replaced in this season as Beelzebub. Unfortunately for now, that's all that's known about Season 3 of Good Omens. I'm sure more information will be released as time goes on, but for now, we've got 2 seasons to binge through in order to prepare ourselves again. So, there you have it. Good Omens Season 3, everything we know. If you want to see more videos such as endings explained, theories and predictions, and character breakdowns, then click on the I button, or alternatively you can head over to my channel where you'll find them all. If you'd like to give me a show or movie that you'd like me to review, then head over to my Twitter, or X, @BrainPilot_, and tweet me what show or movie you'd like me to review next. And finally, if you'd like to see what I rate the latest movies that don't quite make the cut to getting a dedicated video, then head over to my Letterboxd profile. It's where I rate the latest releases in real time. What do you think will happen next? Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.